you don't see it when you're together because you've been together for so long. But when you're seeing other couples and you're watching them, you're like, oh, I like that. Maybe we should start doing that. That's a good idea.
Well, welcome to the kitchen, where we have our kitchen couples with us, Mike and Diane Clemens, and Eric and Kara Maines.
All right, all right.
And yeah, Damien and Kennedy Nash, opening up the conversation there with Dr. Les Parrott about community, the importance of just having other couples in your life.
I think this topic is so important because we don't think about it very often. I think we are all living in our own bubbles of busyness. And we just, especially when you have kids, there's schedules and everyone has their own schedule and you've got to do this and you've got to do that. And all the nights of the week are taken up and you think, okay, but it's so important to include friendships into your relationship and do life with other people. I like it when he said, we're just better together. Yeah. We're just better that way. Yeah.
And I guess it's important to also get the right people in your together group as well, because sometimes some negative influences can maybe have that wrong type of...
We all need people in our marriages who are for our marriages, who want to encourage us, who make us better. And that's kind of the direction we need to
And even
lean.
growing up when our kids were small, their friends were so important. And then in the teenage years, friends it was all about friends and making sure they hang around with the right peer group, to not pull them down.
We
So
need to
that can
remember
happen in
too
marriage
as adults.
Yeah, seriously. We have some friends who we have basically grown up together. We got married the same year. And then, have had kids and everything. And it's just such a special gift to be able to relate to them. They know where you're at in life. You get the same sense of humor because you've been there. Maybe your kids aren't sleeping and you're both exhausted. And so the maintenance of the friendship also looks different because when they're at the same life stage as you, they get it if you don't reply to their text or their call, or if you haven't seen them in a few months, just because life gets so busy. The maintenance looks different, and yet they know the needs because they're in it with you. And so I was also thinking too about it matters. There are so many distractions, and there's so many comparisons now we can do with Instagram and social media. And when you have friends with you who are invested in your marriage and in your success and who you are as a couple, it makes it easier when the tough times come.
I think it's the same principle behind Philippians 4:8. Focus your mind on what is true, pure, and right. It's because then the product of what will come out of your mind was true, pure, and right. But intentionally choose the people you hang out with in a marriage setting as people that will uplift you, encourage you, keep you humble, and help you keep your marriage true, pure, and right. And so be intentional about that.
That's good.
Yeah, and sometimes I know for us, being the older couple, Eric.
I made one comment about our generation being different.
I'm not going to let you lose.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
But, we've been married for 30 years, together for 38. And sometimes it's hard to have that couple, right? Because we've seen so many marriages come and go. And to find, couples that have been married and know what phase of life we're in, have adult children now. But it's important to do that because it's important to be able to, I know for me, when we get together with certain couples, I try to pull from that couple. Right? I like to watch them to see what they have, what they're doing, what can I learn, what can I take from them? Because sometimes you don't see it when you're together because you've been together for so long. But when you're seeing other couples and you're watching them, you're like, oh, I like that. Maybe we should start doing that. That's a good idea, right? You can always give and take when you're in a community.
That's good.
And then, of course, there's also that opportunity to refresh the other couple as well, right? Not to just pull from, but to refresh.
That's right.
And so it really is that combination, that back and forth. It's amazing, right? After all the years we've been together, what we don't know.
Yeah.
Right, and the things that we potentially take for granted, right? So yes, you can always learn, but then there's that interchange as well, where you're able to reciprocate and give back and be a part of that. It's amazing how often we find that other people are experiencing the very same thing, right? So as we go through, it's just it really is good habits just to have that. And they talked a little bit about like, going out to people that you don't know, right? And that may be a little bit more uncomfortable for me, right? But it's also, I think, important to be able to share with those who maybe don't have the same set of experiences or that kind of thing. And I say in these groups, solutions, not pollution. Right, so be very careful, as you said at the very beginning, that we're solution-oriented, not pollution-oriented.
Yeah.
And if you don't have those friends and you're a married couple, I think the first step is stepping out too. People might not just automatically come to you. It might take some work and prioritizing that.
They mentioned it in the
your
video
marriage.
how like a lot of churches have small groups or connect groups or anything like that. So maybe find your local church.
Those couples could be surprising. You might think, you know what, we're really good friends, and I never would have dreamed that we would be good friends, but something brought us together. I remember years ago, we bought a house that was a real fixer-upper, and there was like wallpaper everywhere that just needed to come down. And so I would drive the kids to school, and then I would, because there was an overlap time, I could go to the house and work on the house. And a woman that I didn't know very well said to me, from church, I'll come and help you. I've got some free time. So she came and she brought her boom boxes back in the day. She blasted music.
Boom box? Oh, sorry. Is that from the iPhone?
You hear that, E?
Who are these people? I don't know who these people. Anyway, and so she came, brought the music, and we spent hours stripping wallpaper at our house. And she's like 15 years older than me, turned into a dear friend that
And we started getting together as couples as well.
and we're still really good friends today. And you never dream that you become friends, but circumstances bring you together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's important to know yourself well enough to know if you're a thermostat or a thermometer. Like the thermometer, you come in and the surroundings affect you. So if you're hanging out with some people and then they rub off on you and it starts bringing you down in a negative way in your marriage, or whether you kind of set the temperature like a thermostat and then you affect the others in a positive way. And so just understanding, where you're at and your strengths, and you don't want to hang out. Like 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, don't be fooled, for bad company corrupts good character.
Oh, my mom
And
used to
so,
say that all the time.
That's true.
And
That's
so,
wisdom.
but then you can be the good character that helps someone else, like you were saying, be
Build
the
them
good
up.
influence.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's
a give and
great
take.
talk.
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
Good combo.
This is a good little meeting group here for community group right here.
have a community.
Yes, and important to say you can get those everywhere. When your kids are playing soccer or whatever, the opportunity to meet with couples happens really easily and really naturally if we reach out.
Be intentional.
There it
Be
is.
intentional.
Group your
All
life.
right.
All right, well,
Good
stay with
stuff.
us. More to come.